On this episode of the Bronze Metalist podcast, we talk about Everything Was Sound by Silent Planet. Hi, everyone. Welcome to an episode of the Bronze Metalist podcast. I'm Kale.
I'm OJ.
We're two professional broadcasters. We like metal. We like to talk about it. And today we're going back to 2016 to an album I feel like maybe has been talked about on the podcast before. Not with you, though.
Not with me, right.
But maybe it's been done. I feel like it's been done. I don't remember.
It was at least 2 years ago.
My brain has very little juice in it right now. I have a dry brain.
Yeah, and your eyes are kind of glossy.
No, stop
They're
it.
glazed.
It's because I'm tired.
Like a fine donut.
No.
Why?
No, I hope not.
Glazed donuts are great. Are you kidding?
It's true. Glazed donuts.
But
are
you're
great.
just hoping it's not a sugar glaze that's on your eyes.
Yeah,
right
that would be. I feel like I would have to call a doctor.
Yeah,
for
that's
that.
a sign you might need some insulin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I slept like dog shit last night, and then I had a remote to do
Right.
this afternoon.
That takes it out of you.
Yeah. And plus, I was wearing a mask the whole time, so we had a blood drive, and it's a good idea to wear a mask anyway. But
It was an enclosed room with blood exposed.
yeah, there was blood everywhere. Just God, it's blood all over the floor, on the walls.
They didn't have any needles or pouches or bags or anything like that. They were collecting and getting
Somebody pulled out
buckets.
a claymore.
The blood drive.
There was a guillotine.
Wait, I think this was going to be a real battle. Oh, shit.
Oh, God. When it said Battle of the Badges, I thought it was just like metaphorical. But no, cops and firefighters are killing each other. So weird.
Oh, shit, this sign says Battle of the Badgers. What the fuck is about to happen?
Oh, no. You just release a whole bunch of honey badgers into the room. Just a swarm of honey badgers.
That'd be great.
That'd be terrifying.
Oh, of course. Therefore, great.
I suppose so. But yeah, I did that, so I'm kind of tired at the moment. But how you been? What have you been doing since last we sat and recorded?
I'm getting my 10,000 steps every day, and I got mine at the beer store on the way here. I'm very, very proud of that. Also, you find little trivial things that you didn't know, and you don't know why you didn't know all along, but you find it out thanks to the internet.
Sure.
And I even found this out, and I had to go verify it in several different sites. And it appears to be true.
Okay.
That at some point in the past, specifically 1950, a young man joined the Air Force. And he went to be stationed. He was stationed in Texas, and they did a test, and they found out, hey, you're really good at crunching Morse code. So they sent him over to West Germany.
Okay.
And to spy on the Russians. And he was there for a while. And in 1953, he's the guy who got the transmission that Stalin had died.
Okay, who is this person?
Fucking Johnny Cash.
What the fuck?
The first
didn't
American
know.
to find out that Stalin had died.
That Joseph Stalin was dead was Johnny Cash.
Johnny Cash is the guy who disseminated that information to the military.
And this is true. You verified
I
this.
did. 21-year-old Johnny Cash in 1953.
Wow.
He's the guy who found out Stalin died.
That's just so weird. It's
so random.
So bizarre.
Yeah.
It's really bizarre. I don't know how to process this information. I don't know what to. I don't have anything to do with this information.
No.
I just know it now.
Yeah, there it is.
It's neat.
Uh-huh.
My brain is desperately trying to find something to do with this info and something more to be said about it.
No, I hear you.
But I feel like I knew at some point that Johnny Cash was in the military, but I didn't know that's what he was doing.
Right, he was crunching Morse code because apparently he's good at it.
I guess
Or was.
so. Completely unrelated. I finished watching The Legend of Korra, which is the sequel series to the last Avatar. No, the last Airbender.
I'm 7 episodes away from the end of Avatar.
There we go.
7 episodes away.
You're getting there.
Yeah, it's fascinating.
Getting there slowly, but surely.
Yeah.
Has Zuko started taking people on life-changing field trips yet?
Has Zuko started taking
feel like you're maybe
Not
you're
quite.
right, in that area.
Right, he's now having a sort of a reckoning. He's talking about he was in the war meeting with his father and everybody,
okay.
and he came out and he said, "I was the perfect prince." So
it's the aftermath of the beach episode.
Yes,
Okay.
yes, where they burned those assholes' house down and destroyed those people at volleyball. Yeah.
We have destroyed you for all time. Yeah. Probably the best Azula line is, we are the perfect party guests. We arrive on time because we are very punctual.
And with every episode with Azula, the more and more you're going, yeah, she's a psychopath.
She needs help. This poor girl needs help. I think like some of those Fire Nation episodes are some of my favorites because you get a peek at. They all are kind of privileged kids,
right?
But they're all really fucked up in their own ways.
Yeah. Especially poor Zuko.
Especially Zuko and Azula, but for different reasons.
Right.
Both
and in different ways.
Different reasons in different ways, both stemming from the same source.
Yeah, their father.
The Last Airbender is a fantastic series. I really liked Legend of Korra.
Was it as good as The Last Airbender? Or?
I don't think so.
No?
I don't think it needed to be.
It was just different.
Yeah, it's really good. Here's the thing. The Last Airbender is so fucking good that it would be kind of hard for anything to really live up to it. But there are two different series that are doing two different things set in the same universe.
Sure. Right, you don't really say Frasier is better than Cheers.
Yeah.
You just say it's different.
Yeah. The Legend of Korra concentrates a lot more on the world and its themes rather than the characters in the world.
And it is many years later, 60 years later, something like that?
Yeah. Long enough to where most of the original gang has passed away.
Sure.
The Legend of Korra focuses a lot more on themes, themes about dictatorship or colonialism or just war and that sort of theme. Equality, revolution, all those sorts of things are themes, and the main characters are all older. Than they were in The Last Airbender, where The Last Airbender,
teenagers,
or preteens even with Aang and Katara and Toph are all 12-ish years old.
I think Toph is a year younger than Aang.
Yeah, and Sokka's a little bit old.
And 100.
Yeah, Sokka and Zuko are a little bit older. But then you've got in Legend of Korra, when it starts out, I think most of them are 16 or 17. And by the end of the series, they're all in their early 20s. And they're, it's I think generally a more mature show.
Okay. Well, good, because we watched the kids and now it's time to watch the young adults or younger adults.
Yeah. And there's plenty of very humorous moments too, but there's also some incredibly dark moments in the series where it's like, this aired on Nickelodeon. Did it? Okay.
Yeah. Well, there are certain things that I've noticed since we had the conversation about the fact that Nickelodeon probably nerfed it a bit. And I'm watching them going, oh, yeah, I know what happened here. Oh, I know what happened here. Yeah. Oh, yeah, all the people were trapped inside the mountain. They wanted to make it all the people's bodies were found, but no, they put them inside the mountain, still alive.
Yeah. And it's like they can only refer to death if it is far in the past. Like they had that episode with, one of the very first episodes where they go to the Southern Air Temple.
Yeah.
And they find Monk Gyatso's body and all the Fire Nation skeletons around him.
Sure.
But, that happened 100 years ago. So it's fine. It's not a fresh dead corpse. It's a skeleton, that's fine for a kid's show because people go into a ruins. Oh, spooky skeleton. It's fine. But heaven forbid you say that someone died.
Yeah. Or show someone actually died. Did they actually show someone die at all? I'm trying to think.
Never up close. There are moments where you watch it and you go, yeah, that person's 100% dead. They're definitely dead, right? Like even with Jet, like nobody ever outright says that Jet died.
Right.
No one ever. He was the.
I'm trying to remember, yeah, he had the thing,
freedom fighter kid.
The freedom fighter with the wheat in the mouth.
Yeah, the wheat stalk.
I'm trying to remember because I know he came back to them in Boston Say, and then
when they were in the underneath Lake Lao guy.
Okay,
and they
that's
got ambushed by all the Dai Li.
Sure.
And they're like, he asks them to leave him, and he's like, "I'll be fine." And then Toph says he's lying, and then it cuts away. Clearly, Jet died, but they can't ever refer to the fact that Jet, who is also a child, died. Or a teenager, but teenagers are children.
Yeah,
teenagers are children.
Technically 18, you're an adult.
Okay. The majority of teenagers are children.
You're too irresponsible to smoke or drink, but we'll give you a gun and send you to a foreign land.
No, that's fine.
Yeah,
clearly. Well, you're not old. You're not old enough to smoke anymore.
That's what I'm saying.
Not in this state.
No, that's federal.
Oh, that's right. That is federal.
Yeah.
I got reminded of that last night. I forgot that the age for tobacco is 21 now.
Yeah.
I had completely forgot about that, which is kind of funny because there's also that Thomas Rhett song 16, where he refers to turning 18 as being old enough to smoke. Obviously, he was talking about his own life.
Sure, back in the 60s.
Yeah, back in the 60s. But if that song, were to come out now, it'd be like, no, you can't smoke now.
Yeah.
You're not allowed.
Remember that rite of passage you used to have where you go
and buy a scratch off and a pack of cigarettes and vote.
Buy a Playboy.
There we go. I didn't do that.
Yeah.
I've never bought a scratch off.
I haven't either. I've never done that.
I've never bought a lottery ticket in my life.
I've stolen pornography, and I've been given it as a gift.
Somebody who gave you pornography as a gift?
A friend of mine named Doug on my 18th birthday.
Okay.
Doug. All I can say is fat last. Doug Almond.
Doug, oh Doug.
There was two magazines. One that was celebrating very bushy bushes, and the other one was just called, and you can imagine what it entails, fat fucks.
Wow.
So
I didn't do anything else with my weekend.
No.
After we recorded last,
I built a frame for a machine gun made out of monster cans.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
It was pretty awesome. I had an old rotting 2x4 in the backyard.
A 2x4?
Yeah, it was a very long 2x4. I cut it to specific dimensions, spray painted it black, nailed it together.
Go. Now you see, a 2x4 is actually 2 and I can't. There's a deleted scene from Firewalk with Me where Pete has to explain to a very angry old man why his 2x4 is not exactly 2x4.
Right. That's true. The dimensions aren't exactly 2 inches by 4 inches
because they have to shave off a certain. The 2x4 is the size of like the stock that they get.
Right.
And then when in the finishing process, they shave off, a little bit more.
Right.
But yeah, that's just it. Just triggered in my mind. It's like, oh, this is a thing, Try and relate that to another human being. Nope.
No.
Can't do it. Speaking of trying to relate things to human beings, let's talk about an
Silent
album.
Planet.
And see how this goes. Talking about a whole album with deep, thought-provoking musical concepts.
There are a lot of musical concepts are very deep, but the lyrics are even deeper.
Well, yes. That is and always has been Silent Planet's thing. Garrett, what's his full name again? Garrett Russell has kind of been known throughout their career for being a very poetic sort of I feel like he would do very well as a rapper. I think that's kind of his vocal style.
He does rap a bit.
It's always
screaming,
but certainly the beat and the cadence at times feels like rapping.
Yeah, even when it gets kind of genty in there.
Yeah. I think he would do very well at that. But this album primarily deals with mental illness, many different kinds throughout the song, throughout the album. The album cover is a interesting, cool little color wheel.
It is neat
concept. All of their album covers are circular. I've noticed that.
You're welcome.
Yeah. I was about to say thank you. That's not how that works. No. But they're all circular for some reason, because circles are fun.
It would be neat if they could actually make record packaging that was circular.
I feel like that would be really hard to put a record back into, though, is the problem.
Yeah, it would have to be cut all the way past the top.
The middle point.
Yeah, the middle.
Yeah.
It'd be cut past the middle.
It's hard enough to put round records into a fucking square
hole.
Yep, a square hole.
Yeah.
I have so many. I get so annoyed when I'm listening to my vinyl, and I will put the record back into the paper cover, and then try and put the whole thing back into the slip cover, into the art itself, and there's like some little fold on the inside that it catches on, and so I cannot put it back all the way in, and I have to sit there and futz with it for like 10 minutes and unfold it all the way and like set it up and like kind of tamp it down slowly so it just falls into place. Now it's a problem I'm sure somebody can relate to.
I'm sure a lot of people, because there is a manufacturing flaw in slipcovers. This is just a fundamental.
It is a flaw. But it's not all of my records. It's a lot of double albums that have extras included in them.
Right. This
tends to happen where like, oh, we have the lyric sheet, and we have poster, and we have all this other stuff.
A gun.
Yeah, we included a gun in your copy of your copy of The Sciences by Sleep. Here's a free gun. Here you go.
And you know what the thing is, if that was the case, if The Sciences did come with the vinyl and a gun, the first thought of the person who bought that would be, how do I turn this into a bong?
Yeah, probably. I was going to say, if Sleep was going to include any sort of large object as a package deal with a copy of The Sciences, it would be a bong.
Sure.
That would be what they include in the package.
Funny too is if it came and it was wrapped and it was obvious. It's clearly this is a bong in here.
No, man, it's just a vase.
They're really like flowers. Sleep does.
You put flowers in it, man.
Yeah. Or buds.
I suppose so. Does this slap?
Does it slap?
It's a complicated question.
It is complicated because it's a complicated album. I mean, it does a lot of. They think about every split second of everything that goes on here.
Yes,
and they kind of force you to think about everything that's going on here, which makes it difficult to say it slaps you.
Yeah, I think this album in general also moves a little bit slower than their first album. Their first album is a bit faster. They had a different guitarist on that one. This one moves at a bit of a slower pace. BPMs are a little bit slower. And I think that fits the band very well in general, especially with their drummer, I think is very like jazz influenced. He has a very, not a lot of fills necessarily, but when you watch him play, and he's a big guy too. But when you watch him play, he's got a lot of flourishes, it feels, and a lot of little touches and that sort of thing. But I think certain moments on this album slap.
Yeah, I'll give it that. Yeah,
I don't think it slaps from cover to cover. I think certain moments.
I'd use the D word again. Dick. No, dynamic.
Yeah. Dynamic album. So this album features a couple of features.
Yeah.
It features a couple of features. The most notable one is on the second song. Metalcore fanboys lost their shit because it was Spencer Chamberlain from Under Oath.
Oh, really?
Was the guest vocalist on that song. Under Oath was a very popular metalcore band in the early to mid 2000s. Was around for a while. They had a comeback recently. I don't know if they put out a new album or not. I think technically, if you're pronouncing it the way their logo looks, it should be like Under Oath. Underoath, because
like Mötley Crüe.
they do that. It's not an umlaut, but rather the slash through the O. I don't know what that's called.
Yeah, that's called
Like Uistin Arseth.
right. Who is dead?
Yeah, who is that was the singer of Mayhem.
What? Oh, Uistin Arseth? No, Uistin Arseth was the guitarist.
You said who is dead.
Oh God.
Come on, OJ. Jesus.
Sorry.
Come on, you're losing it.
Yeah, well.
You're losing it. It says 2015 present. I don't know. They did put out a new album in 2018. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I guess they've still been around. They weren't doing it at this point. Under Oath was not together at that point. And they got back together later on. Under Oath. The other feature is Corey Brandon Putman, who's the singer of a band called Norma Jean, which is Norma Jean kind of runs in a lot of the same circles as like Every Time I Die, and that sort of they sort of bridge the gap between like Christian metalcore bands and also like the Every Time I Die sort of sound and scene of like sort of the nasty, dirty bar metalcore.
Yeah.
That's how I think of Every Time I Die, and I think this is metalcore that you play at a bar.
For a bar populated by the people in the map change video.
Yeah. This is a biker bar in Buffalo.
Yeah.
This is what plays there. This is what plays in hockey, hockey locker rooms.
That woman's a little bit drunk. I don't think she's aware that her breast is out. That's the kind of crowd we're in.
Yeah. That video is, despite the description of it's a drunk lady with her boobs out, that's a depressing music video.
Oh, it is. If you really look at the subtext of it, it's
a very depressing music video for map change.
Hey, here's how people are.
You're
not wrong.
Here's where we grew up in the sticks in Buffalo. Although I don't know how much in the sticks they grew up in. Not necessarily, because I mean their parents were both college professors, but
they have a college in Buffalo.
But that's of course not to say that college professors make a ton of money or anything, because they don't.
Not in Buffalo.
Not in Buffalo, New York.
No.
And briefly, I still think it's hilarious or just interesting that Keith Buckley, of all people, was a teacher for a while. Yeah. I'm trying to picture having class with Keith Buckley, and it would be amazing. It'd be great. Yeah. Especially having class. I mean, whenever he was a teacher, that would have been interesting. I imagine he was quite young at the time, probably fresh out of school. Having class with Keith Buckley as a teacher now would be even more interesting, because here you know the long hair, the beard, millions of tattoos. Sure. Just
an English teacher.
As an English teacher, that would be great.
The one that always gets me is you've heard of the band Steel Panther, right? Mm-hmm. Their lead singer's real name is Ralph.
All of them were teachers, weren't they?
Well, no, it was just him, and not just a teacher. He was an associate professor at Texas A&M. He has a PhD in English studies.
But hey, he figured he could go and play silly hair metal songs and get women to show him their boobs. Which
he did. I mean, he did. He was doing that. It was a Van Halen cover band they started with. He called himself David Lee Ralph. And they were doing Van Halen covers, and they sort of expanded on it, and it got really huge. And he's like, I guess I'm not teaching anymore.
Yeah, I mean, if you could do that, and have women willingly show you their boobs for free,
and it's funny. There's so many levels of irony and not irony in their music.
Yeah.
Hey, we're making fun of this, but we're really doing it.
We're actually doing. Yeah. I mean, I think that is self-awareness.
Yeah, that is self-awareness.
You would call that self-awareness.
Yeah. Yeah, but one of their videos where they're in a school and their singer is having an argument with Sarah Silverman for some reason. Sure. And he says, the song is called Death to All But Metal. She says, Death to All But Metal? No, Death to All But Metal. Death to All But Metal. Got it. No.
Steel Panther. Good old Steel Panther.
Asian hooker.
So anyway,
yeah.
Airplane noises.
What's the score?
The average of all of the scores I found on their Wikipedia page was 91%.
91. It's high.
Yeah, it was very well reviewed. I remember when this came out. This came out July 1st, 2016.
Mm-hmm.
I had just moved into my very first ever apartment.
Ooh, wow.
And I was waiting patiently for this album to come out.
You were 20?
Yes. And it popped up, bought it on iTunes, because this was a point where I was still buying albums every once in a while.
Sure. Like on CD?
No.
Or are you buying it on iTunes?
It was on iTunes.
Which is not a thing now.
Yeah.
I had a discussion about one of our salespeople. She said, it's not iTunes. I said, no, it's
Apple Music.
No, it's not Apple Music. It's Touch Tunes.
Oh.
She was talking about Touch Tunes.
Was talking about Touch Tunes.
She's talking about, you can listen to stuff on iTunes in the bar.
No, that's not what it is.
Yeah.
Apple is not licensing their software as a jukebox program for bars.
No.
I don't know why they aren't, but hey.
Which, by the way, occasionally I still do. I'll put money into Touch Tunes and I'll play Cannibal Corpse at the Grain Hopper down there.
Yes.
Yeah, just like in the middle. Oh, bingo's on. Well, can't wait till that's done.
I still am so incredibly disappointed that they don't have the live version of I Come Blood.
Right, yeah.
Just so I can pick whatever bar in town that skews the oldest but also has Touch Tunes.
Yeah. The Grain Hopper's there.
Grain Hopper's there. Okay.
That's yeah. They used to have a college professor table, but they all got too old, and so everybody else there. I think there was one guy.
The next generation of college professors all went to the Blue Rider.
Maybe they don't have Touch Tunes at Blue Rider.
They don't, though, unfortunately.
No. There was one guy, a professor at the Grain Hopper. He was an economics professor, and I started working there in 1996.
Okay,
the year you were born. I started working there, and then he was still. He'd been drinking too many years every day to kind of be understand him, and then he kept coming there every day for the 20 years that I fucking worked there. And you notice right away he had flasks in his shoe because he's broke.
Yeah,
he's just coming there to play bingo and stay drunk.
Yeah.
And the funny thing is, I hung out with Hunter S. Thompson. And,
of course he did.
Yeah, well, sure you did. Yeah.
You look at him, you hear that, and you probably say, yeah, no, that probably.
Yeah, my friend Brent, who's a local musician, is in his 60s now, had him as a professor in college. And he said, you get there and he'd do it like this, and then
open up, pretend he's not pouring himself booze under his desk.
Yeah, and then take a big slug, and then for a moment... Today we're going to talk about. Yeah.
He needed his special lecture sauce.
He was drinking in class. Still alive apparently. I haven't seen his obituary.
There's no way, right?
Yeah.
When did you quit working at the Grain Hopper?
I don't know, 3 years ago or 4 years ago, something like that. 3 years.
I feel like there's no way he's still alive.
I felt like there should be no way he was still alive in 1996. It's like, how is this guy alive? And then there was another dude named Charlie, who was apparently a college professor and apparently the illegitimate father of the bass player for what's the band that plays everywhere in Mine It all the time? My God, what's his name?
I don't know. I don't know which band you mean.
He's the most famous bass player in Minot.
Does not help me at all.
Anyway,
what kind of band is it?
It's sort of a cover band with any kind of rock and roll.
Slamabama.
No.
I don't know.
Soulshine.
Okay. All right. Now
he's the singer and bass player for Soulshine. Well, I should know his name right at the top of my head. And apparently, Charlie is his illegitimate father, which kind of makes sense. They kind of look alike, except for Daryl. Daryl is the bass player. He's black, and Charlie's not. But
okay.
But whatever. And Charlie might be dead. Charlie has really bad organic brain syndrome.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so I mean, he's
I'm
always
not sure I know what that is.
Organic brain syndrome is when you've done too many bad chemicals, and it sort of fossilizes your brain a little bit.
Okay.
And so you move a little bit more sloth-like, and you talk very sloth-like. And so he would come up, and he always had a joke, and he'd say, "Why did the bike lay down?" Why? It was too tired. And or the one that I really liked was, "There are 3 towns in Saskatchewan that rhyme with vagina. Medina, Regina, and Runt." Thank you, Charlie. You want to buy some bingo cards? Yes, please. And then he bought like 6 bingo cards. We're calling it lightning speed. How the fuck is this guy playing 6 bingo cards? But he did.
I mean, I just
love that guy. He was great. I know when he was he was about 70 years old, he did a good stint for having 6 pounds of marijuana in his house.
Oh, wow. That's a lot of marijuana.
Yeah.
6 pounds. My goodness.
I somehow get the feeling he's just holding it for somebody else. Here, Charlie, you can smoke as much as you want. Just hang on to it for a bit, will you?
We know you're not going to smoke all of this, so. No human being could do that.
No. Well,
I mean, given enough time, anybody could, but yeah, I can't stop thinking about what this guy, what would have happened with this guy hanging out with Hunter S. Thompson. I mean, vaguely we know what he would have done with Hunter S. Thompson.
There was a lot of drugs.
There was drugs, obviously.
Yeah, and probably guns came out at some point.
I'm sure.
They shot at something.
And I want to know where he hung out with
here
Hunter.
In Minot.
In Minot.
Hunter came to Minot. He was doing a lecture series. He stayed at some hotel here, and he just called. Why am I forgetting his name? I guess I haven't been there in so long and haven't talked to him.
It's fine.
Yeah, it was wonderful. You'd say things to him, and if something sort of philosophy you'd heard or something, an intelligent witticism that you could see his eyes light up, like, oh, somebody talking smart to me.
Somebody's saying
because somewhere that's things. Inside he was still in there, but he's kind of trapped.
There was a pretty thick filter between whatever brilliance still lay within him and relaying any of that to the outside world.
His name is Carl. I don't remember.
Carl Jung.
No, it was not Carl.
It was not Carl Jung.
No, I did not work there that long ago.
150 years old.
Yeah.
Anyway, what's your favorite song on this record?
I think the closing song is my favorite song.
I really do like Inhabit the Wound.
Yeah, I mean, it's completely just a sung song. I mean,
well, it's not completely. Garrett comes in at the end.
Well, yeah. Yeah.
It is, I think, one of the most, this album in general, I think is one of the most cathartic albums that I know of and have listened to. And especially all of Silent Planet's albums, I think, have a really, really strong sense of catharsis. Both The Night God Slept and their latest album, that we talked about last year, which was called When the End Began. They both end with a song called Depths.
What are the Night Gods?
What?
The Night God Slept, or is it
The Night God Slept?
The Night God Slept.
Yes.
Okay, not the Night Gods. The Night Gods slept.
Now you're getting it confused with the pantheon of the Nightside gods, which is, I feel like, as far from Silent Planet as you can get. We are whimsically and gleefully satanic versus the lyrics of Silent Planet, which are philosophically and I don't know quite. I mean, they're a Christian band.
They're Christians,
yes,
and they are a band.
And I think their lyrics do deal with faith,
sure,
to
some extent,
not super overtly or anything, but it's a very sort of theological. It's the sort of discourse you would have from someone who has studied theology rather than some sort of fundamentalist.
Right. They're not. This is in zero way preachy.
Yeah. And Garrett, I believe, if I can remember, was a theology major. He had it. sort of things that they talk about the most in their work: theology and psychology. Were his two majors.
Or psychotheology.
Psychotheology.
Actually, there's a lot of that. But anyway,
I mean, that's Scientology's whole fucking deal, isn't it?
Well, they wouldn't
call it psychology.
No.
They wouldn't call it that.
No,
but that's what they're claiming to offer to people, which is why it's enticing to some mentally ill people who are far, far away from anybody who loves them because they're in California.
Right. You know, it's so weird with things like that. I mean, I've been approached by Scientology. I've been approached by weird sects of different religions.
I don't know if I've ever knowingly met a Scientologist.
I have. And it's weird if you come into contact with people who I didn't know who were Scientologists and wanted to talk to me. Yeah. It's funny the questions they ask you. They ask you certain things that point to whether or not you'd be gullible enough to believe their shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. And if you go, I don't care, they'll be like, no, never mind. Bye.
Yeah.
You know?
He's not going to buy it.
Yeah.
I don't think I've never had anybody solicit me for Scientology, I think.
I was solicited by the sect. They say they're a part of Christianity, but they also have God the Mother. And they have on MSU campus, they have a church and I looked up God the Mother is like this old Korean lady.
Yeah. It's the Korean. It was months ago.
Yeah.
There were these two guys that knocked on my door because somebody left the fucking security door wide open like they always do.
Yeah, it's broken now.
And so a couple of religious solicitors come in and they knocked on my door and tried to talk to me. And I was just like, guys, I'm not interested. And they closed the door. And I was talking to some of my friends and they're like, were they for the Korean church thing? I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
I went to MSU. I don't remember I walked around that entire campus with headphones in.
Sure.
If anyone tried to talk to me,
you couldn't hear them
between classes. Like I would have friends from across campus be like, Kale, over here. We want to talk to you. And I just keep walking because I didn't see them and I didn't hear them.
And it was weird just how you had this weird reflex to
just flip
them off.
Yeah.
I wasn't trying to flip you off. It's just stretching my hand.
I do this naturally. I have this weird rigor mortis in my hand. My hand is dead, by the way.
Also, fuck you. But
yeah, no, I walked around that entire campus with headphones in at all times. So there were times I would see people standing outside the buildings with books, talking to people, and I would just ignore them.
Right. Of course.
It also helps to be wearing a metal shirt and be scowling, which
I wasn't. I was
also happens to me a lot.
I was bringing a child. They had this cool little program for kids, and Maximus was, in this program because he wanted to learn more about music or whatever, and so it was in what's the old Main? What is it? What is that actually called? And Nicole Nelson or whatever.
Yeah. The big amphitheater.
Right. The big music department.
Yeah. It's just Old Main. The building itself is Old Main.
Right.
And Nicole Nelson is the theater hall.
So, yeah, I took him to Old Main. I dropped him off. He said, sir, can I talk to you? Because I have a feeling a lot of times I bop around, even though I'm kind of grizzled and my hair is disheveled.
You have a bright look in your eyes.
Yeah, I do. Can I talk to you? I'm going to tell you about God the Mother. And all of a sudden I'm going, oh, shit. How did I get in? How did I get in?
How do I get out of this?
It's like that goddamn Vivint guy that walked up to my house the other day. God,
this is going to be a deal.
I'm too nice. I'm just going to listen to, and then eventually, by the way, with the Vivint guy, I turned out to be an asshole because at the end, I started getting tired of it. And I'm like, look, I don't want your shitty equipment on my property.
Please go.
He said, can you, for future reference, can you tell me what I did wrong? I said, you were perfect. You did great. I just don't want it.
I just don't give a fuck. Now go.
I don't trust your shit. Go home.
God.
You were never going to win me over.
I don't have it in me to be rude to people who are being nice, even if I do disagree with the very idea of soliciting people for religious purposes.
Right.
Like I could not more strongly disagree with that. But if somebody's being nice, then I don't have it in me to be a dick to them.
But as opposed to my wife.
Who will just...
I love her, but she knows when it's time. She knows when it's time to be a dick.
Yes.
And she will
there
do
are
it.
times where it's good to be an asshole.
Yeah, I walked in and I heard her say, no, you gave him a lot more time than I would have.
Yeah. Well, it's like that. I don't think we talked about this. That fucking psycho crackhead that showed up at work the other week.
That was crazy.
We didn't talk about that. I totally forgot about that.
So I was standing there. Was I talking to you? Was I talking to Quinn? Who was I talking to?
You were talking to Quinn, I think, because I was in the studio.
Oh, okay. Yeah. And then, no, Kelly was in the studio.
Oh, yeah. I don't remember. I saw the guy pull up.
Right. And Kelly says, hey, can somebody help the guy coming up to the front door? Because we have a security building now. He used to be able to come in and...
anybody could walk in off the street.
I want a prize on the radio. And then we'd give them their prize and they'd get out.
Yeah. But now we have a security door.
Right.
To prevent random crazy people from walking in.
So this random crazy person comes up to the door, which we didn't know. I saw him and I'm like, well, he's kind of disheveled and weird, but that's
maybe he's just a blue collar guy who won a prize recently.
And so I opened the door for him. Hey, can I help you? And holy shit, he let me have it. He's started talking about something about the homeless and the poor and what America's
rent was
doing.
Too high.
Rent was too high, and the goddamn pet people.
Oh, yeah,
the pet groomers and the animal doctors who charge you too much money. I don't have that kind of money to spend on my dog, and I love my dog, and I don't have a home now.
And it's and we are next to a pet store,
yes,
and a vet clinic.
We are.
So maybe
that's what happened.
He got confused by that at some point.
I don't know.
He opened with all the other shit too. Yeah. And meanwhile, everybody else that was present there were only 4 of us there at the time.
Yeah, and it was me that opened the door, and I was standing there.
Yeah.
And Quinn wanted to attack him. Because he's up the stairs, because you have to go downstairs to get to the front door. So he's up the stairs, and I'm just standing there. I'm like, I don't know how to react to this.
Quinn just wanted to get him out of the door so we could shut it,
which he was going to do. Which, I would just listen. I'm not a violent part. But Quinn saw that he had a big knife in his back pocket.
Yeah.
So he's like, well, I guess I'm not going to start a knife fight.
Yeah. I'm not going to shove this guy.
Yeah. So, then he yelled at me about the fact that the natives are the only ones who belong here, and everybody else. I mean,
it sounds like he was making a fair number of decent points that were just articulated through a filter of complete insanity.
Yeah, and he drove there. We watched. We're like, he's driving
in a car with no plates.
No plates. We're like, let's call this shit in. Oh shit, we can't. He's got no plates on his car.
There's just this random weird-looking old dude driving I think it was a pickup truck, wasn't it?
No, it was a compact car.
Oh, it was
It was a little white car, because only crazy people drive little white cars.
Yeah, it's true. I don't know. I don't know anybody who drives a small white car that isn't a psychopath, especially foreign-made ones.
I agree.
Japanese cars in particular, specifically Toyotas. Anyone who drives a white Toyota, especially like a 4-door, like Corolla, like a 2010.
I have to use the bathroom.
Toyota Corolla. I think they're all psychopaths.
I'll be right back.
No, I think you should stay. You should stay right here where I can see you.
I gotta go to the bed.
No, you're never going anywhere again, my friend. Let me just unfold this wine corker.
Oh no, he's gonna corkscrew me.
I'm gonna corkscrew you.
You know what? Put me out of my misery. It's fine.
But no, that was so fucking crazy. And we're all standing on either side of the top of the stairway, listening in.
And Kelly starts overheading me. You have a phone call on line 2. No, OJ, I have a phone call on line 2. And in retrospect, I'm like, this guy doesn't know my fucking name. Why is he?
No, we were just trying to give you an out to close the door.
Right. And I just didn't feel like it was the moment. I thought, I'm going to let this guy speak his piece. If he charges me, that'll be a great story for my grandchildren. But
OJ, I think you have enough traumatizing stories for your grandchildren at this point.
Yeah.
I think you've got enough of those.
I've started to leak those stories into because I have a child who just turned 14 on Monday.
Yeah.
And I've started to sort of leak stories
like,
slowly.
Hey, your dad's had a fucking life. Your dad has had a crazy, insane life where lots of weird shit has happened to him.
Yeah.
I'm going to have I'm going to be a boring old man, I think.
Maybe.
I feel like I'm happy with that, though.
Yeah, I have a feeling that something's going to happen to you where you're going to be like, what's the movie with Inspector Clouseau? Is that the actor who plays
Pink
him?
Panther?
No. The actor who plays him.
Okay.
It was in a movie called Being There.
Okay.
A movie called Being There was sort of the precursor to Forrest Gump.
Okay.
He was a gardener and he was a part of all the weird shit that ever happened in the United States in his lifetime just by virtue of being there. That's
kind of I mean, you're not necessarily there for all the really big stuff, but just being alive, like, some whack shit has happened in my life, not really to me.
Sure, but like near you.
Yeah, I was a kindergartner when 9/11 happened.
I was laying on a futon.
Yeah, like big events have happened to me, but nothing like particularly crazy or insane has happened in my life just because I'm a quiet guy.
I still remember laying on my futon that day, and the TV was on, and I was at the time the drug dealers upstairs were still siphoning me cable. So I
like the way you said that too, siphoning me cable.
Yeah, I had cable TV at that point, and I'm watching TV, and suddenly it switched to news. I don't remember what it was on. It was like Cartoon Network or some stupid shit like that, and they showed one of the towers was on fire. I'm like, what am I looking at right now?
The fuck is going on?
I don't understand. And then like a couple minutes later, I'm like, I gotta go to work.
Fuck.
I'm not supposed to work for another 3 hours, but I better go now.
Yeah, this is a big.
This is a situation
thing.
Yeah.
God. Yeah,
I was working on Mix 99.9. This is the station I was on.
Mix 99.9. Yeah. But I mean, I'll have some stories. I just I don't think they'll be particularly crazy or anything. But I'm also starting to go out and do. I'm kayaking now.
Sure, that's a story.
When you go kayaking, things can happen to you.
Like the old dude on the shore. That's a story.
Yeah, that was a neat. I probably won't ever remember that.
Maybe you will.
Yeah, I mean, nothing happened with the old dude on the shore though. He just was an old guy that seemed kind of high.
Sure.
It's not an interesting story. It's just kind of like, oh, okay.
I feel like I might be involved in some situation.
Possibly.
Like you'll tell your grand. You've seen Taxi, right? The TV show Taxi?
I've not, but I do. I know of it simply because it was Danny DeVito's like big break. Right?
No, well, that was One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest was Danny DeVito's big break.
It was his establishing moment.
It was his establishing moment. Yeah, it's Louis De Palma. But one of the other people in the shop was Reverend Jim. Reverend Jim was the mechanic played by a much younger Christopher Lloyd.
Okay.
And he was an associate college professor. He was there, and they actually, it was one episode they did flashback to him being at Princeton. Then he was, and well, if you'd like to talk about economics, we can discuss the thing. Brownies. Well, sure.
Well, let's try this, and then suddenly,
oh
God,
forever
for the rest of life.
Yeah. I guess I'm gonna fix taxis. Okay.
And I like a couple of weird things. My story where I had to go and get my balls checked and it was super embarrassing. Like that's a fun story, but I don't know.
What ended up happening with that?
I just got some antibiotics and
it was just an infection.
Yeah,
you didn't have like a hydrocele or
it took some antibiotics.
Or your twin brother was in there.
Yeah, I absorbed my twin brother into my balls. I never got to say my favorite song, by the way.
Oh, what is your favorite song?
My favorite song is a song called First Father.
Oh, yeah.
I'm really fond of that song. Yeah. I think I connect that really deeply with a certain with my first D&D character I played. Yeah. I do this a lot. Like I make playlists for certain D&D characters that I invest a lot of time and effort into making.
Yeah.
And almost all of them, all the playlists I've made feature a lot of Silent Planet for some reason. It just seems to fit for whatever reason with certain characters I make. I also wrote down a ton of honorable mentions because I really love a lot of songs on this. I'm really, really fond of a song called Understanding Love is Loss. That one is so wonderful. The lyrics on that are just heartbreaking. Yeah. There's a part where it's I can't do justice like just speaking it out loud. Sure. Just go and listen to it, read the lyrics, watch the music video. It's great stuff. I think that's partially dedicated to Charles Foster Wallace, the song. He was a writer who ended up committing suicide a while ago at this point. I think over a decade ago.
But the interesting song, as we discussed earlier, No Place to Breathe.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I wrote that down as one of my honorable mentions as well. So No Place to Breathe is a song about racial injustice. This album came out in 2016. The phrase I can't breathe is used repeatedly as sort of a
talking
cry.
About George Floyd.
Well, I mean, I can't breathe. Yes, now.
Yeah.
In the context of 2020, of course, is associated with George Floyd. But this was 2016. I feel like I had heard that phrase be used before in before George Floyd in this context. But
as my wife pointed out, this has sort of been a story that's going on since 1691. This is
100%.
Yeah,
absolutely. But there's also a line in there which is "Make every breath a protest."
Yeah,
and it's again, this was 4 years ago at this point. This is not new. What's been going on? People are just doing something at this point. I also wrote down Panic Room as one of my favorites on there. It's a song about PTSD that was written for a friend of the band who was in the military and ended up, dealing with some pretty severe issues when they came back home. The song Nervosa, which is about bulimia and anorexia. I'm really fond of that one.
Anorexia nervosa is what it's called. Yeah.
Yep. And then I'm also really fond of the song Orphan, which is about sectarian violence or religious violence.
I feel like maybe you're just a fan of all the songs.
I'm
on
really,
this album.
I'm not super fond of the first couple of songs on here. They're fine, but like Psych Escape and Dying in Circles, I'm not.
Big.
They're fine. I'm just not super fond of them. Everything else, though, I really like and can listen to and have listened to a lot for the last 4 years. This is an album I've had on repeat for quite some time.
Right.
So I'm giving it a gold. Maskanata, Chewbacca, medal being bestowed upon, giving it a gold.
Nice.
What are you giving it?
What am I? Okay. I have a little problem with the vocals.
That's fine.
And so I'm giving it a high silver for now. I would have to go and revisit it because there are times where I had to actually take the headphones off. It's like, I'm being screamed at a little too much right now.
Yeah. No, I totally understand.
I want to like this. I listen to heavy metal, so I should be okay with being screamed at this point. But
I think Garrett's a little bit of an acquired taste for some people. And that's perfectly fine.
Yeah, which I do, and I do want to go back and listen to this because it's one of those things where this is clearly something some artists put time into making. Who not some piece of bullshit.
Yeah. And I think his vocal style has, this was at a sort of a really transitional point in his vocal style, where it has shifted now to being a bit more steady, and he makes a lot more use of lows in their later work.
Cool.
Versus at this point, he was mostly doing kind of I don't know quite how to describe the texture of his vocals on this, but it is kind of shouty, you would want to call it, crackly. It sounds more like somebody is like yelling, and it's very strained and painful sounding.
Yeah.
Versus something with better technique, probably. There's, I think for the subject matter that they do, I think it's what fits the best at times, because there are a lot of points where it's like, I don't want to hear these lyrics done with a super gross guttural. I want this. Yeah. I want to understand this.
I need high energy, but I also need to hear the lyrics.
Yeah. So I think Garrett has gotten better over time, but I totally understand, why people wouldn't be super fond of it. But that's it for this week, I guess. Next week will be September.
Oh, shit, September.
Yeah. It's a non-metal month. Do you have any ideas?
Oh, crap. I hadn't really considered a non-metal album.
Yeah.
Oh, shit. Which thing will I choose for a non-metal album?
You're speaking very strangely. You're frightening me. What's on your mind?
Because I don't know, there's a whole lot of stuff.
You're just buying time.
I'm buying time.
You're not doing a bit. You're just buying time.
Right. Because
if you can't think of something right now, we can leave it to be a surprise.
Let's do it. Why not?
Okay.
I would love it if you would listen to all of Trout Mask Replica.
Oh, fuck. Oh, fuck. Oh, fuck. I can't believe you've done this.
Oh, fuck.
Oh, fuck. I can't believe you've done this.
Let's do it. Let's do Trout Mask Replica next week.
Oh, God. Okay, say goodbye to my brain. I mean, it was going to happen.
Sure.
It was going to happen.
Uh-huh.
I've listened to the Residents at this point,
sure.
So I've got,
The Residents are a build-up to Trout Mask Replica.
I feel like you're right. Okay. All right. All right, Trout Mask Replica next week.
It's
by
funny.
Captain Beefheart.
Yeah, Captain Beefheart.
By Captain Beefheart.
I banted it around in my head. Should we do True Colors by Cyndi Lauper? Or should we do Trout Mask Replica?
It's really different. What genre would you call Trout Mask Replica?
Yeah, definitely.
What is Wikipedia called?
Avant-garde, probably.
Yeah, almost experimental rock, avant-garde, blues, art rock, free jazz. Yeah.
Yeah. So what we're gonna do? You're gonna enjoy it though. You're gonna enjoy it. You're gonna stray far away from your frown land.
Yep. I don't know what any of that meant. I'm sure I will.
Great. It's a great album. It is. If you listen to it and you go, okay, I see why people consider this to be a great album. I also see why people consider this to be fucking bullshit. But I can see why people say, yes, this is. Somebody had to do this is goddamn thing.
This is great bullshit.
Yeah, it is.
I mean, I think I've tried to listen to it before, and I just didn't get it.
Sure. So, I think, there's a whole song here.
We're not even starting with Safe as Milk. We're going straight to Trout Mask Replica.
Going to absolutely Trout Mask Replica. If you're going to do it, if you're going to throw a grenade in there, make sure there's people gathered. I mean, let's
of course.
Let's hit as many notes as we can. Let's do Trout Mask Replica.
I'm sure they will. Captain Beefheart and his magic band.
Yes, indeed.
All right.
Because they were magic.
They were on something magic.
Mushrooms.
Yep. All right. So that's next week until we get to that brain melting miasma of musical things.
Could have done his college roommates album that I enjoyed the most.
Oh, you mean Frank Zappa?
Frank Zappa. I love Strictly Commercial. It's my favorite Zappa album. Or maybe Burt Weenie's Sandwich. I don't know.
Anyway, next week, Trout Mask Replica.
Sure.
Till then, check us out. Facebook, Twitter, Brown's Metalist Podcast. Check us out on Libsyn and iTunes and the mobile versions of those services.
There is no iTunes.
That's right. Apple
on
Podcasts.
TouchTunes. Find us on TouchTunes.
Yeah, we're on TouchTunes. You can play us at
the bar. Yeah.
That'd be great.
That would be great.
That'd be super weird, but let's listen to a podcast at the bar.
And the funny thing is, it would never go all the way through because there's a skip button on the remote. So somebody would be like, "Okay, I've heard these assholes for the last 5 minutes, and this goes for an hour. I can't.
Shut the fuck up.
Fuck you."
So on that note, thanks for listening to another episode of the Bronze Medals Podcast. I'm Kale.
I'm OJ. Congratulations.